Something new comes along and they do not adopt it. It's like, oh, we're never going to do that. Like digital filmmaking is really, it's happened 20 years ago, but it took a moment, and then it just happened.
If I look back in the past sort of year or two, and especially at the US industry, it's been an extraordinary time of upheaval, to say the least. We had the SAG strikes, the writer strikes, AI, and more AI, a lot of consolidations on studio sides, as well as on the streamer side as well. The studio that your father founded and you are leading right now has always had this very specific ethos or a mission in this environment. How important or what is the ethos in 2025 in a landscape where everything gets majored, so to speak?
Well, the ethos you're speaking of, American Zoetrope, is a film company my dad founded in 1969, and we continue on, and we support the films that we, from our family in particular, and others that we're able to support. But it's always been based on a community. The company was founded by my dad, George Lucas, John Milius, Carol Ballard, Walter Murch, all these, that group of filmmakers that came out of that time. They were very passionate about the work. They saw an opportunity for film to be more than just a commercial enterprise, an artistic vision, but obviously welcome commercial components if you consider George Lucas's work. So that's the spirit the company was founded, I grew up around, and we're basically taking that and putting it online. And it's so interesting because in the past, we know there was a wonderful flowering of French cinema, Italian cinema, Japanese, these various cultures that have popped up and had this moment, and they were really all flowered because of this sense of camaraderie and collegiate sharing. And now we're doing that, but the people may be in diverse places, but they're sort of able to gather and compare notes and exchange and be introduced and support one another online. So that's what makes it unique.
I want to kind of come back to this question of creativity and technology that you also briefly mentioned. This type of mission to harness the power of technology, of course, has been in the forefront of studio and your father and some of his friends and colleagues you mentioned. But if you look at the latest discussion, it seems that the kind of creative track versus the technology track of the film industry often are going into, I would say, rather bipartisan or divergent ways. There is tremendous fear around technology, especially when we look at AI, and obviously when blockchain came about, there were similar types of fears and concerns. Throughout your own work, through music video, visual effects, for example, and elsewhere, you've always sort of bridged that gap between technology and filmmaking. Is that something that comes to you naturally, or do you have a process? Are you keeping an open mind? How do you approach that?
I'm very open-minded. That's my nature. I'm very curious. My career has been kind of constructed about opportunities that have come my way, and I jump aboard. Usually when I haven't done something, then I seek out doing that thing. And yeah, I agree that technology, my experience in the film industry, maybe true with many industries, is that people do not, something new comes along and they do not adopt it. It's like, oh, we're never going to do that. Like digital filmmaking is really, it's happened 20 years ago, but it took a moment, and then it just happened. And I think that's the trend, that people resist, it's not really sure, and then boom, it's adopted. And you don't even think about it.
And George, who received our Lifetime Achievement Award last year, he already was saying, well, close to 25 years ago, that we will have digital avatars playing in films, and here we are.
Yeah. It takes a moment, but then it happens very quickly. It's like when you go broke, they say it goes very slowly, and then all of a sudden you're bankrupt very quickly. So I know that one.
So your late mother, Eleanor, who has given us some extraordinary documentary films, she, and I will paraphrase that, she said that I was a housewife and then I had to take a giant leap and overcome my fear of making a documentary film and becoming a filmmaker. With you, when you're undertaking projects and you're working on several projects at the same time, again, writing, developing for TV, technology projects, and etc. Is there something that inspires or strives you on your family legacy, and especially on your mother of going through these fears?
My mom is very beloved and very influential to everyone in our family, and it's not exactly true that she was a housewife and then said, "Oh, I'm going to make a movie," because she was always an artist and has a wonderful history of making. She made some short films that are very conceptual art works. She had photography projects, fine art, drawing, and so on. So she always invited that to be part of her life. And I'll tell you what I think is a charming story. In the 70s, when conceptual art was blossoming, where you would have maybe an idea, an event that would become the artwork itself, she took our home and she put little barriers up in front of each of the rooms, and she had us kids in our rooms playing, and so she invited people over in a sort of in the manner you might for a gallery opening, but the house was the artwork, and the kids, we were the artwork, and the kitchen, what she had in the cupboard. So that's a little taste of sort of her living art, more holistically. And so when she made Hearts of Darkness, it's not like she set out to make a film. And I think my comment, even it's about my own career, is it's a continuum. You don't just make a thing. Like, I'm here to promote and share to the world the Phoenician scheme that I did with Wes. And people say, "Oh, what's it like to be done with that or showing it?" And to me, I don't see it as a thing or an event. It's like a continuum, because I'm seeing Wes and we're talking about new ideas for other films. So it's just a flowing process, and people can jump aboard to see the movie. But when my mom made that film, it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm going to make this thing." So it's more of a flowing manner of life. That is my experience.
How do you gather inspiration?
I just things come your way. I'm eager. I find when I travel, it's inspiring. Obviously, reading. There's this sort of French term being a flâneur, which I appreciate, which is the act of strolling and observing and taking things in. So that's kind of my aspiration. I don't do it every day so perfectly, but just to be receptive and find threads of interest. And as we work together, Leo knows this about me. I'll see a photo. I just showed him something on my phone, like, "Oh, I saw this," and I shared it with him, and the conversation starts. And so it's not one thing, but again, it's just this kind of flow.